Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms, and welcome to the tale of the incredible self-destructing overmolding far too prevalent in two-way radio today. Now, right here on the table, we have a new old stock Motorola Shorty VHF whip, and this antenna has spent its entire life in storage in a controlled environment. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. You can see that the antenna and the overmolding is completely degraded. And that's a shame. Here's another example. This is a multi-band Apex 8000 antenna, and although this antenna is still serviceable, you can start to see that the age and the antenna is going to be in the same state as this one here in perhaps a year or so. Now, let's see what I'm talking about here. This radio here is a old Jobcom radio that's about 40 years old, and you can see, look at that. That antenna is in amazing shape, and look how flexible it is. Let's look here at the factory antenna on this Motorola MT500, and same story. And you know, both of these radios, or neither one of these, spent their lives outside of or inside of a controlled environment. They most likely had the crap beat out of them during their service lives, and the antennas are still in amazing shape and display far better flexibility than the contemporary examples. Now, in today's click and buy overnight delivery world of perpetual e-waste, it would be a simple process to discard these antennas and buy new ones, but I've been saving these antennas and returning them to service on my personal equipment with a product that has been around for decades. And this product is Plasti Dip. Now, one can make a case for glue-lined heat shrink, which is serviceable and durable, but it really does not provide much flexibility in the end product in my experience. Now, here on the bench are some antennas that I've done with Plasti Dip, and you can see that they are much more flexible than they were originally, and that the finish is durable and it's well insulated. And each one of these antennas has been dipped 4 times in Plasti Dip. Now, unfortunately, due to my shade tree mechanic application process, some cosmetic flaws are going to be evident. Now, in order to make all this work, you need to remove all the overmolding with mechanical means carefully. What I do is when you flex it, you end up with these little breaks inside the material. All I do is just take a pick like this, and you'll remove big chunks of this stuff, just like that. And it doesn't take very long to remove all the material. Now, after removing all of the original overmolding, you're going to want to clean up your work with isopropyl alcohol or denatured alcohol or something of that nature. And then we're going to have to concern ourselves with insulating these RF connectors. Now, the way I did it on a BNC connector is I merely just covered the BNC connector with masking tape right about here. And once you're done, you're just going to go ahead and cut that away. And I'll give you an example of that when I talk about the SMA female, the MX thread, and this GE thread here. I just used rubber boots. And when you place these rubber boots over the connector, when you're done, you just go ahead and cut those off, and that's what you end up with there. And you can see just how thick that overmolding is. And make a circumferential cut. And you can see we've cut through. So now what we do is just go ahead and remove that end that has our little rubber cap in there, and our antenna is ready to be placed on an MX thread radio. And for the SMA male version, just go ahead and place it on the masking tape, take an X-Acto blade, and you're going to want to cut these off, and you're going to want to do several thicknesses of this. And then once you're done placing the overmolding on the antenna, all you're going to do is you're going to score around the base of it here, and when you lift that section away from there, the Plasti Dip is going to be adhered to this masking tape, and it's going to separate cleanly away from the antenna base itself. Next, you're going to want to make some dipping leashes, and I've just used some leather sewing thread in this example here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and make a girth hitch around your antenna as such, and you start with the tip end here and move it all the way up to the end, the cap, if it has one, or just around the body of it. And what this is doing is it's giving you a leash to hold on to the antenna. And I always start with the base of the antenna, dipping it first, letting it dry for 2 hours, and then after it dries, moving the leash back to the base of the antenna, and then dipping the tip in, pulling it out, hanging it up on something to dry, and then repeating the process in 2 more hours. At the base of the antenna in the Plasti Dip, 5 seconds per inch till we get to the bottom, and then we're going to go ahead and withdraw it 5 seconds per inch. And over the course of a couple of days, this is what you're going to be presented with, something like this. And we have an original one here. Now you're going to lose this skirt right here, but that's no big deal. You can put a thin nylon washer down here or an O-ring if you desired to seal up that interface, because you may have a gap, may or may not, but you're not going to have this overmolded skirt, and that's no big deal really. You can see this antenna is the original version of this antenna here, and you can see it's in the same state that if I flex this thing here, it's probably going to break up, and I really don't want to do that because this sits on one of my example radios on my shelf. So now we're going to ask the question, what kind of effect on terminal performance does this have? Now, what we're going to use as a metric for that is just to see if there's any difference in the resonant point of the antenna. And we're fortunate that we have this original example of this antenna to compare this to. Well, you can see there was a shift in our resonant point in the antenna of these two examples. Of course, I didn't do a sweep of this particular antenna before removing all of the material from it. And this is pretty much typical due to the fact that when you increase the density of the insulating material over the helix in one of these whip antennas, you typically see a decrease in the resonant point of the antenna. Now, I really enjoy making this kind of content for y'all, and if any of you do this kind of work for a living or have any experience in doing this kind of work yourself, and you have any tips as to what we could do to make this process work better, I'd like to hear about it in the comments. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Till next time.